Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin and welcome back to another Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War video. In today's video, the game just released and I'm going to give you guys the 5 best class ups to focus on for the first little bit of this game's life cycle. Because in this game, it does take quite a bit of grinding to get your weapons up to a high level, to get all the attachments in the game. And same with the perks, a lot of the good perks are unlocked later, as well as the wild cards, which are so damn important in this game. The wild cards, you really don't get moving at all. You get like the first one, Danger Close, which is decent at level 12, but then 21, 27, and 45 are for the next 3 wild cards, which really do a lot of damage. So I'm going to give you guys the best class setups here for that first little level grind before you start unlocking everything absolutely amazing, and class setups that you can use and then build off of when you start unlocking more wild cards or more better perks and all that sort of stuff. If you guys could drop a like on this video, that would be absolutely incredible. Let's go for 603 likes. Smack that like button. Also subscribe to the channel if you guys are new and not already subscribed, and be sure to hit that notification bell because I will be uploading a bunch of videos every day talking about Cold War, giving you guys best class setups, tips and tricks, and news and updates and everything you need to know about the game. So let's go ahead and get started, and 5 class setups here that will work very well off the release for you. So I don't know what it takes to get these variants, if it's a PS4 pre-order or if it was because I got not the standard edition but the more expensive version, but I have a few of these variants, and the best thing you want to do is start off of one of these blueprint variants and build off of that. Because when you, for example, if I start off at level 1 and I want to go with the XM4, I can click on this Black Tide variant, and even though it doesn't look that good, because as you can see, it doesn't look like it has the most insane stuff. For example, this one, plus 40% reveal distance, minus 10 sprint to fire time. However, you could just work off of the blueprints and take that one off, build off of what you have. And of course, I'm in a custom game showing you guys the class steps here, so you're not going to have any of these unlocked, but you can leave that one on, leave that one on, and basically it gives you something that's fairly decent to start. You have an aim down sight time and flinch resist, aim while going prone. I think this one is worth to leave on your weapon, but basically that's what you want to build off of. Now, if you do not have this variant, let's just say naturally, how would you want to build an XM4? So first of all, we'll go through all the bottom part of the class setup, and then we'll go through weapons and attachments, because this bottom part of the class setup is going to be pretty standard for all 5 of my setups, and then the attachments are going to be pretty standard as well, but we're focusing on the muzzle or the optic, depending on what you want there, and then you want to go with a barrel, a magazine, a handle, and a stock. But we'll talk all about that in a second. There's a lot to talk about. So as far as secondary, you always want to go with a shotgun secondary in this game. Now, the Gallo SA-12 is probably the better secondary. However, that's one that you won't unlock until later levels. So for early levels, you just want to go with the Hauer 77. And if you are lucky enough to have this Sucker Punch variant, once again, I'm not sure how I got this on my account, but I'm sure some of you guys will have it and some of you guys won't. But you can use that and just build off of that, because this comes with a few attachments that are pretty nice to start off with a shotgun. With the shotgun, you usually want to, it's better than nothing to have a few attachments, but if not, you can just rock with the plain version of that as far as your secondary. Now, as far as tactical, you will start off with the stun grenade, but the stim shot you will be able to get at a very early level. So as soon as you're able to get the stim shot, in my opinion, it is so much better than the stun grenade. Healing in this game does take quite a while, and with that stim shot, you can just be flexing on players, slide around, stim shot in a corner, hop back out, and the player's still 30% health, and you're already filled up. And with how the game works with the heads-up display, you can actually see your own health bar on the screen, so you can plan it out and make sure you're waiting till that stim shot is effective. You can use it to your advantage. I think it's very strong in this game, and one of the only remaining things that really does help favor good players. So if you're someone that wants to play and do win as many gunfights as you can and be able to take on as many enemies as you can and just play your own style, I really do like the stim shot. One thing that is you want to know about the stim shot though is when you get danger close, like I said, these wild cards, you will start off with no wild cards at level 0, but when you get level 12, you will get danger close, and if you do run the stun, then you will have 2, which is kind of nice. I still really like the stim shot. As far as lethals go, frag and C4 are going to be the ones that you're going to be unlocking pretty early. I just stick with the frag. C4s are actually pretty good in this game from what I've heard, but I've always been someone that last time I used that C4 strategy where you run around throwing C4s was like Black Ops 2. It is fairly effective, but I think frag grenades are also very strong in this game, especially based on the fact that people don't have flak jacket because they don't unlock it until level 20, which we'll talk about that in a second when we get to the perks. Next is with the field upgrades. You're going to be able to choose between the proximity mine and the field mic, and you're pretty much always going to want to go with the field mic. Now, the field mic, you just place it down, and it says it's a listening device that highlights enemy sounds in your minimap. That is exactly what it is, but you might be confused when you see this item and think, oh, do I have to listen? Does it make them louder? All you have to do is place this down, and it's sort of like a portable radar from Modern Warfare 3. It will just show on the map where they're going to be, and you can see that like this thing lasts for quite a while. Once you use it in game, you'll be able to see as long as the enemies aren't able to find it. So if you find a nice spot where you can hide this in a corner, lay it down, it can be fairly effective, but you do have to watch out because with the early class ups, a lot of people are tracking these down and trying to eliminate them. But field mics are so damn strong in my opinion, and something that if you put it in the right spot, it's all about trial and error. On certain maps, there's really nice corners you can hide it in that can cover, common rush routes. Once you learn more of the common rush routes, this will be very, very effective and something that I think is worth practicing more than a proximity mine, which is more of just a throw it down and get a gimme free kill. Field mic is something that can actually help you really improve as a player and improve your gameplays overall. Now, when it comes down to we'll do the wild cards first because I was just talking about them earlier. So level 12, you'll get danger close and you won't really have any other option. It's better than nothing, so use danger close, and that will give you more ammo to start, which is awesome. There's also resupply little packs around the maps I've been noticing on certain maps, which we'll talk about a little bit when we get to the perks as well, and it gives you the extra lethal and tactical. So it's not bad, it's good, but when you get to level 21 actually, you're able to get Lawbreaker, which allows you to equip any weapon class in either slot, which is very, very helpful, and even more important, equip multiple perks from one perk category. I think that can be very, very important as you get up in these ranks, because usually in Call of Duty games, the Perk 2 has been the most important slot. In this game, it's a little bit more interesting, where at least from first impressions, it looks like Perk 1 and Perk 3 are going to be stronger than Perk 2, so mixing your perks around with Lawbreaker can be nice. And then once you get to level 27, of course, Gunfighter, it's something that it makes sense why it's unlocked at level 27, because at level 1, you wouldn't want this, right? And I think I said level 0 earlier, but of course you don't start at 0, you start at level 1. But with this, you get 3 additional attachment slots, but you already get, 5 attachments, so you get 8 total. Well, when you're level 1, you don't even have 8 attachments unlocked, so it's pretty pointless. But of course, when you do get to 27, you're going to want to upgrade, and when you do get to 45, it becomes an option, I would say, with greed. I say these 3 are probably your best 3 options, so you sort of want to just upgrade as you move along with the wild cards. But like I said, level 12, 21, 27, and 45, and I know for some people it's going to take quite a while to get to, or not quite a while, but it's going to take a decent amount of games to get to 27 and 45, so that's something to keep in mind. Next, when we get through the perks, and I'm going through all this class setup here because pretty much all of these setups are going to be identical or very close to identical to start off, and then what's going to be customized is more of your attachments on the weapons, which we'll get to in a second. But the perks in this game, they aren't very fancy, right? So you're going to start off with Engineer, Assassin, and Gung Ho, and those aren't the best perks. They're not the worst perks by any means, but I would suggest when you do get leveled up to upgrade to Paranoia. It's not that high of a level to get to Paranoia, and in my opinion, Engineer, well, it can be okay, it's better than nothing. Paranoia is a lot better because you basically just pulses yellow on your screen when you're being targeted, and if you're a smart player, you're able to just slide with the movement in this game. I feel like the movement is pretty decent. You can slide out, and Paranoia can be very, very helpful with that. Now, the big boys come in here at level 20 and 32. Everyone, because of how this game works, right? Everyone starts off with a class setup of frags and stun grenades, and everyone gets danger close at level 12. So the amount of nades flying around is unbelievable in this game. So probably the most important tip for your class setup, as soon as you hit level 20, throw on Flak Jacket on every single class setup. Throw on Flak Jacket and do not look back. It's going to be very, very helpful. And at level 32, you can get Tac Mask. I still prefer Flak Jacket over Tac, just on a 1 versus 1 level, because if they stun me, I still have a chance to outgun them, or my teammate can come in, step in, and maybe save me. If I get grenaded and they have 2 grenades, I'm just dead. There's nothing I can do. And those are the worst deaths, where at least if they stun you and walk in the door and kill you, sure, it's kind of feels bad. But when they just throw nades across the map and you're looking at the kill cam, you're like, what? That was so lucky. That feels the worst. So Flak Jacket is going to be your perk 1 go-to. When you hit level 20, throw them on every class and do not look back. Trust me on that one. Next, we're going to go with Perk 2. And of course, this will change as the game goes on. I'm not saying to leave Flak Jacket on your class for the whole year, but as of right now, with the way the class setups unlock, grenades are flying everywhere. You need Flak Jacket, at least for probably the first week or 2, I'd say. And even after that, it's going to be a very strong perk. Next is Perk 2. You start off with Assassin, and Assassin is sort of like a perk that just kind of works in the background. It's not really anything that gives you any crazy gameplay things. Helps you to hunt down people when they're on a kill streak and give you a little bit of extra score, but that's not as far as your every fight. It's not something that's going to affect every single fight. So you do unlock Scavenger at 23 and Gearhead at 14. Now, Scavenger Scavenger is nice at 23. However, there are ammo packs, like ammo little boxes are just on default around certain maps I've noticed. And with Danger Close, like we said earlier, you start with additional ammo. So you start with a bunch of ammo. So I don't think it's as important, Scavenger, as at least as of right now off the start. I think Gearhead and Assassin are probably you're going to be your go-tos. I'd say Gearhead is pretty nice because it reduces the field upgrade cooldown and it allows you to store up to 2 field upgrade charges. So this is very nice with the field mic, because field mics, if you lay them down or if you can even stack them up, or it's just such a strong thing. Like field mics and stim shot are probably 2 of the best things for I guess you could say good players or tryhards in this game. And Gearhead is something that, like I said, Perk 2, it kind of seems weird when back in Modern Warfare 2 you had stopping power and like every game had insane Perk 2s. It's not the strongest Perk 2, but for your early options, it's probably something you're going to want to go with. And then as you get up to higher levels, you know, Quartermaster and Tracker are going to be very, very good into looking into. But this video, we're covering stuff for the early game of this life cycle. Next with Perk 3. Now, Perk 3s are very important as well. You get Ghost at 17 and Ninja at 38. Cold-Blooded is in the middle there. It's decent, but definitely when you have to pick one, you're either going to want to pick Ghost or Ninja, and I would recommend going with Ghost just because, like I said, my thing with Flak Jacket, everyone has grenades off default. That's how you sort of plan your class setups off early game, is what does everyone get for free? Well, they also get spy planes for free pretty much, and having Ghost, having that as soon as you turn 17, you throw on Ghost. As soon as you turn 20, you throw on Flak Jacket. It will completely change your game, and is some of the most important stuff to a class setup. Gung-Ho is also very, very important, to be honest, and it can be nice with Danger Close because of the no, not Danger Close, sorry, with the second wildcard Lawbreaker because of the weapon switching. But Gung-Ho is something that on an SMG, it's really, really nice as well because you can just rush around. It feels nice, but still, I'd still probably go with Ghost over it just because of how many people are running nades as of right now. So that's what I would go with as far as my perk. Like I said, this is the bottom part of my class setup. I would upgrade the frags to a Semtex when I get to the higher level, and I would upgrade Danger Close to Lawbreaker, Gunfighter, or Perk 3 or Perk Greed. All of these are very, very good. Danger Close is just what you're going to be rocking with as far as the early levels. Once you get Lawbreaker, you're able to equip multiple perks from 1, so you could double stack in certain areas. It all depends on what you would want to do. I would say possibly, like, you know, a class setup like this would be really, really nice once you get to that Lawbreaker level. And then, of course, you can run a AR and an SMG secondary. But as far as weapons go, so these early class setups, as you can see me having them set up, Paranoia, Gearhead, and then Gung-Ho, you're just going to upgrade that to Ghost when you get to that level. But as far as attachments go, what you're going to want to focus on as far as attachments, and actually we'll go back and show you guys the XM4, because I know people are probably waiting for that, is you want to focus on 5 different layers, right? So the first is going to be either a muzzle or an optic. That's sort of your choice on, like this XM4, I would take an optic because the default sights isn't as good. On most of the other ones, I'd take a muzzle. And then barrel, magazine, handle, and stock are going to be your most important things. Barrel or under barrel are both fairly important. But usually when you have like you know, when you don't have an option for all 8 of these categories, you're going to have to be selective with the 5, and you're going to have to pick what you get. For example, okay, if I'm leveling up this XM4, what would be my class setup? I would throw the red dot on it as soon as I would unlock that. I would throw a barrel on it as soon as I would unlock it, and I would go with this one, the Ranger, until I get to the reinforced heavy. That's basically what I would go with as far as those two. You want to skip over the cavalry, so just as you're leveling up, because these weapons do take quite a while to level up. Next, I would go all the way to my magazine. And for magazines, usually it's pretty nice that this 40 round, you unlock it pretty early on most guns. So you want to smack that on pretty much every gun as soon as you get that early. And then as far as handles too, they are pretty nice, where as you can see, you know, you want to slap on and basically work your way up the ranks with this. But ultimately, if you can get to the flinch resistance, that's where you start to do big damage. This is nice, 50% flinch resistance, 90% is even nicer. And this one I wouldn't say is the most crazy, but the bottom one, of course, is pretty good as well. But usually for those mid levels, once you get that field tape, you'll be pretty nice. And tactical stock is just what you're going to want to go with. As far as, you know, these ones at the bottom where you get extreme aim walk movement speed are obviously going to be the best overall. But for those early levels, when you get that first tactical stock, this is a class setup that you'd be pretty much really good to go with for the first couple days or weekend or week of this game. Next class setup, as you can see, same stuff, but with the MP5. Like I said, optic or muzzle. With the MP5, you'd want to go with the muzzle because I love the default sights on this one, and you basically want to work your way up with the muzzle break 9, then upgrade it to a flash guard, and then upgrade it to a suppressor. And honestly, I think the suppressor is pretty good with the MP5. Next, with the barrel, like I said, muzzle, barrel, magazine, handle, stock. If you remember those things, you'll be able to focus on pretty simple stuff. This one, pretty much the first barrel does decent. Once you get to these later ones, of course, they're better. The later stuff is going to be better, but this video we're talking about for your first week class setups. I'm going to be going through and doing best class setups for every single gun, where of course I go really in depth on all the attachments. But those videos will be coming out slowly over the next week or two as I get through all the guns that matter in my opinion and go through the class setups of those. So MP5, and then once again you just throw on that 40 round drum mag and the handle. With this one, it is nice to have the drop shot wrap because drop shotting is actually more usable on an SMG than it would be on an AR. But once again, it's pretty much the standard stuff with these attachments. You'd want to go with, you have the choice between your aim walk movement speed or sprint to fire speed. On ARs, I would always take the aim walk movement speed. On SMGs, I'd probably usually take the sprint to fire speed. And then once you get upgraded to those higher ranks, no stock will be absolutely amazing on the MP5 as well. And pay attention to these weapons because these are 5 weapons that are going to work very well early. So XM4, MP5. Next is the AK. And with the AK, once again, I have a variant here of the Iron Curtain, which is really nice. I think this is something to do with the PS4. I'm not really sure. But you can see, look, it gives me some late attachments here. Like, look at this. So this weapon feels absolutely incredible. If you have this weapon, use it. Use it on your early class setups because getting these attachments, you get them right away because of the blueprint. So you don't really have to, this is going to be unlocked at like level what, like 50 something on the weapon? It's going to take so many hours of playtime to get to that, but you basically get it free because of the variant. Once again, if you don't have the variant, or it's more of just building this weapon, how you would build the XM4. Very similar. The only difference I would say with the AK than the XM4 is I like the iron sights better, the default sight on the AK more than the XM4. Next is going to be the mini Uzi, which is called the Milano. And with this one, once again, I have a variant that you'd want to build off of. So even if you have this and you see, oh my God, it has, I don't want to use it with a 3x scope on a mini Uzi. That's stupid. You can just take that off and rock with some of the other bonuses that you get off of this weapon that are pretty nice. But you want to build it out pretty standard, how I showed the MP5 and the XM4 builds. Like the attachments don't vary too much over the weapons. So as far as these early class setups, your focus is going to be more on, just picking those attachments fairly standard and having your class setup move up the ranks. As soon as you hit that level 20, get flak jacket. As soon as you hit level 17, throw on ghost. Stuff like that is going to be very important. And the last one I would say, as far as a weapon you could use, these 5 weapons are going to be very trustworthy off the start. As far as LMGs or tactical rifles, those weapons are also pretty good in this game. I use them a bit in the beta, but it takes a lot more levels before an LMG becomes really usable compared to an AR or SMG. So sticking with these 5 weapons, if you really want to have best class setups off the start, is going to be very important. Once again, you go ahead and you throw on the shotgun on this thing. If you have that or not, you just throw on the normal. And when you do get to a high enough level, you want to upgrade that to the Gallo. Then with the AK-74U, pretty standard stuff. I'd go with the Paranoia until I get Flak Jacket. I'd go with Assassin until I got Gearhead. I'd go with Gung Ho until I got Ghost. And same thing with the wildcards upgrading. And then as far as the attachments go, muzzle, barrel, magazine, handle, stock. That's a really easy way to focus on just simple, the big 5, I guess you could call it. Underbarrels are nice as well, and there are some pretty decent ones, but they come more towards the end levels, and still the barrel is going to be really important. So with muzzle, once again, muzzle flash concealment. This one you sort of just want to upgrade as you go, but personally, this is not worth it. Losing 15% damage range for an extra 10% doesn't seem to be worth it. So I would just rock with that one until you can get to one of these later ones if you are interested in those. Barrel, once again, you just want to skip over the second one, vehicle damage, unless you're playing one of those modes with extreme vehicles. Even on this, like on an AR, I would say you'd want to go with the effective damage range increases. On an SMG, it's not as important, so you could just stick with the first one on this SMG until you get to these later ones, which will come. Most people won't be unlocking that for quite a while. Magazine, 40 round drum, once again, slap that thing on as soon as you can. Minus 10 on the quickness, plus 33 on all those categories. Hashtag worth, pretty obvious, right? And handle, SMG, like I said, it is important. The drop shot wrap is going to be you actually have a choice here between these two on SMGs. On ARs, you're pretty much going to want to always upgrade it as soon as you can to 90% flinch resistance, even on most SMGs, unless you're really, really into keeping your aim down sight as you are drop shotting. And then as far as the stock goes, once again, you have the choice between sprint to fire and aim walk speed, which on most ARs, I go with the tactical stock. On most subs, I'd probably go with the wire stock for the sprint to fire speed. And you have some pretty nice, like as you can see, no stock is obviously way better, but that's going to take you a little bit more time to unlock. And ultimately, if you can get to the skeletal stock, that thing is incredible as well. But this is going to take people quite a bit of time to rank up to. So hopefully this video did help you guys out with 5 of the best class setups to start off with. Like I said, the stuff down here is pretty standard, doesn't vary too much over classes. You can switch out your Ghost and Gung Ho, because Gung Ho can be really good on SMGs. You can switch out these two, honestly, as much as you want. Even Scavenger if you're trying to go on big streaks. But Perk 1, you want to pretty much just pick Flak Jacket because the nades are flying so much. And then if you do want to double up with a wild card, like I said, you can double up with a Lawbreaker and double up with those two, Flak Jacket and Tac Mask. And once you hit level 45 and you get Perk Greed, you're going to be able to get a lot of perks if that's something you choose. And it's basically going to come down to whether you want to stack your perks or stack your attachments on weapons, which for early, probably people are going to be leaning towards the perks. But once people have a bunch of their weapons like level 50 and beyond, I think 8 attachments is going to feel very, very crazy on a lot of guns. So that's what my thoughts are for the class setups. I know a lot of people like to watch my videos for class setups, like to hear my opinions. And like I said, the game just came out, so I can't give you guys the exact class setup for every single weapon, what's going to be the best. You know, I want to take my time, play with the weapons, and level them up and be able to show you guys what I like and what I think are the best different setups for different weapons, and we'll do in-depth videos on each of them. But I think this video should be good to get you guys started off on grinding this game out for this weekend, for the next week or so, and enjoying it and using these class setups. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Drop a like if you guys could, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and hit that notification bell because I'll be uploading a lot more Cold War content. And that's about it. I'm out. Peace.